Hello everyone. Thank you for joining, and I appreciate this Andre to put these things together. And thank you. So this is my MSc thesis that I finished last year with the supervision of Dr. Martin Conley. Is what he did. What I did it is analyze the construction site noise from the community perspective. So I'll be going through pretty much the standard template as Jessica did. So these are the items I'm going to share with you. So the goal for my thesis was to investigate the construction noise through the community perspective, like how the community residents like you and me, we see the construction noises. So the objective was that to model and predict the construction site noise in an urban environment, and after that to investigate some of the noise control or mitigation strategies we have, and then finally to assess the community. So community responses to that noise, how the community responds to the construction noise. So here's a little bit of background because so the site we choose is at the Vancouver, at the Vancouver city. So we just want to give some background. The Vancouver city is a populous and highly dense city, and the construction industry is very busy. I think is even busier now than compared to 2 years ago. And 1/4 of them, all those construction projects are big projects that generally valued more than 20 million. So that's why, like everywhere we go down for a walk, we see a construction site around in Vancouver. So that because of some of the rapid urbanization happening, not only in Vancouver, some other big cities around the globe. And yes, that's for the good for the society, for the country, for the economy. But again, this construction industry affect the built environment, which is essentially affect the quality of our life. But in terms of the construction noise, the thing is, this noise broadly got two parts. One is the occupational noise, and the other part is environmental noise. So when a construction project is happening, the people of the construction crew they work, they are exposed to the occupational noise. But at the same time, the same noise, when that noise travel beyond the construction project site boundary, it comes to the residents, comes to us, comes to anyone living around the project, that becomes another noise. So that's why the reason we wanted to see that yes, the construction is good for many ways. The construction projects for the built environment, for the economic benefit, for this and that. People need the building or the facilities to be built up. At the same time, you also need to understand how the people living in the neighborhood they see the construction noises. So my projects I did in my thesis, I did my literature review was quite extensive. I went through from the understanding the sources and characteristics of the construction noise and vibrations, how this noise impact the human life, this noise impact the urban and surrounding ecosystems, what are the economic and social cost of this construction noises. I also reviewed the construction noise control through the noise policy and regulations, engineering management strategies, and also how the community responded to the construction site. So my literature review was really intense. But here I just wanted to share just one piece of the things, just to share how severe the construction noise could be. So there were some projects, and I can say if there's a one indicator to understand the social cost is that daily disability adjusted life years. So which is due to the noise, how many daily people are losing. So for example, in the European Union, they lose more than 1 million healthy life years just due to the noises. And there's research in a city in China, just about, let's think about a construction project, just 2 excavator working daily at the night shift for more than just a year, and it can lose more than 34 dailies, and which is equivalent to almost $4 million social cost. So yes, that's why my thesis I wanted to understand how the people, the residents, they react. See, the social cost is on the big part, but very often it doesn't accounted for during the project construction or even the project bidding, or most of the time we just don't really notice it. But it's a huge when I went through the literature reviews. So there's a problem statement that yes, we said like there's a positive aspect of the urban development, but it comes with the expense of health, and noise from a just single construction sites can possibly impact a larger number of residents in a high density urban community like in the city like Vancouver. So that's why I wanted to understand some of the questions like how does the constant noises propagate and affect the ambient background in single family residential setting and multi-family residential setting and high residential neighborhoods, and also can we mitigate the constant noises, and also the another question I wanted to understand that is the sound pressure level that is recorded by the city of Vancouver is it could be the sufficient, and how does it align with the Health Canada indicator that is basically the person highly annoyed percentage. So I wanted to understand this through the through this research through my MSc thesis that city of Vancouver, all other cities like Burnaby and other cities, they recommend that okay, sound pressure level this and you're good, go ahead with the construction. But when you look at the Health Canada guideline, that is more stringent than the SPL, and that is person highly annoyed. Wanted to understand it how much the constant projects or the project management they comply with that, and obviously that the residents around the projects or people in the neighborhood they pay the cost, the social cost. So briefly, broadly, there are 4 stages of this research. So first of all, what did we used the drone images, and we model a actual construction sites, and then that we created the Cadna A software. There's a Cadna A is the noise analysis and open software, and after that we model the construction site. This construction site, when we model it, we insert into 3 local study area. That is one of the location in city of Vancouver. So first of all, we choose a real construction project. That is one of the construction projects happening that time at the BCIT Building campus. We model it. Then we transfer this construction, this Cadna A model to the three local study areas in Vancouver. And then we calculate the percentage HA, that is the community annuance. And finally, we try some of the noise history to the construction site, but everything with that within the Cadna model. So that is the methodology I had for the thesis. So this is the first thing that this is the projects that BCIT construction. There is a construction project going on that time at the BCIT campus in the School of Health Science building. So there's a real construction projects, and that project they're doing some of the good stuff, and they collect the weekly and bi-weekly drone images. They fly the drone above the projects, and they collect all those data. And we use all those data because it's just COVID and other things. So we wanted to use those drone imagery, then analyze those images. So first of all, we collect all those drone snapshots like every 2 weeks for the 1 year for this project, from the site mobilization, so site preparations to until these projects come to like a 1 story up. So that's the 1 year period we choose to analyze, and we model it in the Cadna A. Then after that, we choose a location at West King Edward and Canby Street. So we choose a location and we say, okay, let's see if that BCIT, that real construction projects is happening at this area, the blue, how the noise from these projects will affect the people living in this area. So, but again, because this area ideally is a mixed development at this moment, but in the Cadna A software, we model a three different local study area. There's a LSO1 is a single family. So first of all, I model that all the residents, all the buildings here is single family residential. And second is the LSA2. There's a mixed use on the ground level and multifamily above on the arterial road, and remainder of the single family residential. So this along the West King Edward and Canby was the LSA2, but behind it is still the single family. Then we also modeled another scenario, because just to consider that, because a lot of because Vancouver City, they're putting the policy to make it like high density urban areas. That means that they will build up uh, high level, high rise building. So that's the LSA3 we choose. We put the tower in this corner, this here, here, and here. There's a corner, and remaining is the single family mixed use, the LSA2, and the remaining are the single family residential. So all these three scenario we model into the CAD9 software, and we need to check if the BCIT projects was building this place, how in these three different locally study area would would be impacted by the construction noises from this project. So then after that, we calculate the percent highly advanced. That is, there's adverse health effects within the localist area. That's basically the community responses, the community analysis. So this percent highly annoyed is a descriptor prescribed by the Health Canada, and also it's aligned with environmental X, federal environmental X in Canada. So you need to do that. So after that, in this research, in the CADNA model again, we try different mitigation strategies, like some of the noise barrier. We put some of the equipment enclosure, the construction equipments. Then we use the combined control, like the side barrier and equipment enclosure. After that, we recalculate the percentage of H at the percent highly annoyed to see if we apply all of these construction mitigation strategies for this project, or noise mitigation strategy for this project, how the percent HA will change. So I will show you see later on. So here's the analysis. So first of all, the BCIT Health Science Building, that's the actual projects. We analyze, we collect the data and model it in a CADNA A. And yes, and as you can see from here, it's basically the is the site preparation, and here is already at the 1 story up as of July 30th. And the construction noise is getting increased as the site slowly moving to the more and more equipment coming up, more activity is happening, and it's really getting high as 98 dBA. During the piling, there's the foundation stages and coming up to the 1 story. After that, it's slowly going down when the 1 story is going up. So that's the things like this basically, it is a similar trend for all of the previous research has happened, that in a construction project, the noisiest phase of any construction project is the foundation stages, when a lot of heavy equipment is happening. So yeah, so this is the first things we did. We just need to understand how the noise propagate from the actual construction side. So then we bring that actual site into that West King Edward and Candy. There's a model neighborhood. But before that, we did the baseline noise calculation from that neighborhood. But for this presentation, I just put only the one, the localist area, that is a single family, all the single family residential units, that baseline noises. So you can see the day LD, LN, and day nights, and the City of Vancouver limit, healthcare limit. Yes, the noise level, even the baseline noise level, that is mostly due to the traffic noise. Is some of the locations, some of the points is above the Health Canada guideline. Of course, it's the Health Canada guideline because it's stringent, it's 65, and some of the locations is it exceed the City of Vancouver noise limit. So now, also once we know our model's neighborhood baseline noise, then we calculate the neighborhood construction noise. Like these are neighborhood. So we, in the CADNA model, we putting in these actual construction projects in here, and you see again in the LSA1 and how the noise is propagated if this construction site was building at that location. And yeah, and it says yes, construction projects, the construction noise is so that day, night, and LDN, and it's happening. Those are the receiver points. So we have like 17 receiver points around this project. The receiver point next to the construction projects, they receive high noise level as high as more than 95 dB during the construction site, during the during the foundation stage of this construction. So after that, we calculate the percent HA, that is percent highly annoyed, you can see if we don't have any noise control in place during the construction, all of the location just except the two, it just exceed the percentage HA limit, that is 6.5. So you can see here only these two location in the LSA2 and LSA3, two receiver point, just barely meet the Health Canada limit, and all other locations it just exceed the Health Canada guideline. That is the percentage HA. So percentage Health Canada guidelines say the percentage HA, the changes between the percentage HA between the baseline and constant should be below the 6.5. So this triggered naturally that yes, we need to put noise control measures. Some of the noise control are going to apply in the Kibria model. So that happened when you choose these are things we apply some of the noise mitigation measures into that model neighborhood, and we apply seven different noise control methods in the Kibria model. Some things like equipment enclosure, 3 meter high barrier, 5 meter, 10 meter, and equipment enclosure plus 3 meters is a combined noise control. And as you can see that construction noise can reach as more than 90 dBA, and if you have the control, the noise controls in place, is will bring down. But again, it doesn't bring down all of the locations that much. And also this LSA1, some of the point is bring down the 10 to 12 or 10 to 12 and 15 dBA to bring it down. But for LSA2 and 3, we saw from the modeling that some of the locations and some of the control are effective, and it's bring down up to 22 dBA. So here's the zoom. It's like a little bit of detail of this LSA1. If you can see that we have the neighborhood baseline noise. For example, the 0.7 that is just next to that construction project. And yes, if we apply the 5 meter barrier and also the equipment enclosure is those are the equipment is running during that time, is operating at the site. We put a noise enclosure or took the noise control within that individual equipment. So that brings down the noise level a lot. So yes, noise control. If we have the noise control, it brings down the noise level. But again, we still wanted to find out how much it is bringing down in terms of the percent HA. And we reevaluated the community annoyance, because without the noise control measures in place, we saw that earlier that only just 2 of the locations in LSA2 and 3 only comply with the Health Canada guideline. But now we applied 7 different type of noise control, and now we realize, it's improved a bit, but it doesn't really comply. So it is all the red doesn't really comply is above the 6.5, which is recommended percentage limit by the Health Canada. So there's that brings some of the discussion. So we said, as I mentioned earlier, that in the construction project, the excavation stages, that's the foundation stages, it has the relatively higher noise level. That for our model, it reach up to 99 dBA compared to all other construction stages. And we couldn't find any significant differences between the baseline when we modeled 3 different neighborhoods in that was King Edward and Canby. We have the single family, multifamily, and high-rise residential neighborhood. So baseline noise level didn't have much differences. And we saw that baseline noise level met the city noise bylaws, the City of Vancouver noise bylaws, but it didn't meet the Health Canada guideline. And also when you apply those noise mitigation in the Kibria model, we found that if we apply the combined noise control, like the equipment enclosure at the equipment level, and also at the site level, the noise barrier at the site boundary level, so that the combined control was more effective than individual single control. So for example, that an equipment enclosure with the 5 meter high noise barrier, we found it most effective in terms of the level they bring down. And yeah. So if we want to, so my thesis, we concluded with that, okay, there's some limitations. So I didn't put, so if you have any questions, I'm sure I can share some of the limitations for this research. So we found that yes, when the noise mitigation was in place, the city banker bylaws were found to be achievable, and no residents would have been overexposed to constant noise. So my thesis, yes, because that's event is real, because all the constant noise is happening. It seems to be that they don't get the ticket from the city, and they are complying the city of Vancouver noise bylaw. But when we apply the Health Canada guideline, which is more stringent than the city bylaws, it was predicted that more than 1/3 of the residents so were exposed and would experience widespread annoyance with or without the mitigation strategy. So yes, we are good with the city of Vancouver noise bylaws, and it's good. But when you look at the Health Canada guideline, more than 1/3 of the residents would be overexposed. And another important finding we had that, as I said, because the Vancouver city, they're moving toward the high density urban centers here and there in everywhere. I think most of you have noticed that. If we increase the population density, like through the high-rise tower everywhere, and there's one project is going on, and as we increase the population density with the high-rise building, the high-rise building is the more population living in the same within the same area. So the overexposure of this noise to the residents is increased exponentially. So these are the 3 key points my research came out, and I'm happy to share with you. And thank you so much. And yes, if you have any questions.